It started in his dark secret room where the unimaginable became the imaginable. He drew a beautiful young lady out of his inspiration until one day he saw her in reality. To you, it may be a mystery, but to him, it was his reality. He chased after her until one day he got his chance. Everything looked perfect after the day he showed her how his imagination brought them this far. Until one day he vanished. He left this innocent, beautiful lady in a dilemma of mental frustration. And in a transformed physical look, he found his new home. But something went wrong down the line between the world of these two ladies and this mysterious man. You may want to find out. But before we continue, welcome back to Highlight Movie Recap. Today I'll show you a Nollywood love stories, emotional thrillers, mystery drama, and films from 2023 titled A Toast to Forever. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Midey is a talented artist who devoted all his time to his passion. One day he created this wonderful art piece of work from his imagination. His friend Toby came in to find him still sleeping after a long night of inspiration. Toby helps to sell his artwork to interested clients until he saw this beautiful one. He admired it and took a picture of it to advertise on his social media handle. Then came this beautiful lady, Adesuwa. This is what her morning ritual used to be like. One day Toby was passing by when he saw what looked so much like Midey's artwork, only to find the lady out of sight. Adesuwa became scared of his uncomfortable looks, so she moved on. Toby met with Midey the next day. He told him that he just saw the lady he drew and was convinced that Midey lied about his inspirational artwork. Toby was yet still not convinced with how an art piece related to reality without any form of knowledge. It didn't take long before Midey bumped into the ladies at the mall. He was lost in thought when he saw her, but Bimbo noticed him with the way he stared at her cousin sister. She asked Adesuwa if she noticed the weird look from the stranger, but she never noticed anything. They never knew that the stranger traced them to where they stayed. The guys couldn't believe what they just saw. Toby was convinced that his friend wouldn't lie about a thing like this. Toby received a call from a client who wanted to buy the artwork, but Midey wasn't willing to sell anymore. Midey was smart enough to know more about her routine very quickly. He waited this time around for her to pass by. He caught her attention to introduce himself to her by telling her his name, but she didn't give him the audience. But somehow, she stopped again to have a second look at him, like the heart connected, but she continued. Adesuwa is the kind of lady that doesn't have time for a man, but this one caught her attention that she had to tell Bimbo about it. Bimbo recalled the stranger the moment she described him, with a tattoo on his face. Bimbo was curious to find out more about him. She told Adesuwa that she was going to find him on social media with his name. Bimbo was able to find him. They found out that he is a good artist. Adesuwa knows that he is stalking her, so she was going to find out his mission the next time. The next day came. She intentionally stopped as he came closer. She brought out a fleet to spray in his eyes if he didn't tell her his mission and why he was after her. He told her that he had something to show to her after she was calm, and for her safety, she can bring friends to come with her to his house for her conviction by giving her his contact and address. Adesuwa convinced Bimbo to go with her even when she wasn't okay with the idea, so she got prepared with a weapon and also told some other friends just should in case. Midey brought the ladies into his studio to show the ladies how it all happened. The ladies were not so sure because there are chances that he drew her when he saw her and then called her here to get her attention. But they somehow believed him with sincerity in his eyes, but still a mystery to them. Bimbo believed at that point that they were soulmates. Midey sent the art piece to her as a gift. This unraveled mystery made her fall in love with him without much effort from Midey as a man. The reason why Adesuwa never gave love a chance was because she was scared of heartbreaks, but at this point, she was assured in her spirit that Midey is her soulmate. The most amazing thing is that she told Midey she wants to spend the rest of her life with him, and that was the last of it. Midey vanished. No one knows where he is or has heard from him, and ever since he vanished, Adesuwa's world crashed down like she had gone insane. Sometimes she heard the doorbells with the hope that it was Midey, but Bimbo told her that there was no one at the door. After several weeks, she came out of her room. The portrait picture was the only connection she has with her lover, Mide. Her silent attitude was already frustrating Bimbo, who is the only person she has got to look after her. Bimbo was so scared and had to call Toby so they could take her to the psychiatrist before it became that bad. Toby's presence gave her some hope that Midey was around, but Toby also had no idea of where he was. At this point, she knew that her love was gone and disappeared without saying goodbye. Midey started his life over again, or perhaps went back to his woman, Tosan, after leaving Adesuwa to deal with her shattered pieces. But something seemed not right with his new look and the fact that he developed a loss of memory. Tosan never knew him with the name Midey but called him Patrick. Life took a new dimension with what this man has become. He no longer had the drive for what he does as an artist, but still had the skill in him. He only sketched whenever he was bored. Tosan collected the book from him when she saw him drawing and asked him to eat his food. Later that evening, she called the doctor to ask him about her husband's chances of recalling his memory. The doctor told her that he can regain his memory when he starts to do what he usually does. This was supposed to be good news to Tosan, but she withdrew his drawing materials from him. Neither does she want him to step outside to meet with strangers. She told him that the assassins that caused his accident were still after his life. Before Midey left her, he proposed to her, and they promised to do life forever after until he vanished, to what looked like he once had a life like this. Tosan came back from work to find him drawing again. He may not have had the passion as an artist like before, but the skill was buried in him. She recalled what the doctor said: if he continued to draw, he might regain his memory. Tosan got mad at him that he had to go outside to get drawing materials after all she warned him about his killers. Patrick calmed her down and promised never to do such again. She brought good news that she got the contract she had been working in lately. The plan was that once she gets the huge pay from the contract, they will both travel out of the country to start a new life. Meanwhile, Adesuwa still mourns her fiancé like he had died. All Bimbo and Toby did was to stay close until she regained her consciousness. The last they all knew was that he was going to travel for 1 week, only for Adesuwa to get a call that Midey was involved in a fatal accident that burnt some of the victims to ashes. Patrick also had the drawing and a portrait, and admired his skill every time he looked at it. Something tells him that he knows the face in the portrait. Tosan felt the picture would cause her more harm with the way he looked at her every day and night, so she broke it and burnt it to ashes. Patrick came out to find the portrait gone. Tosan told him that she sold it in order to raise enough money for them to travel out. Patrick couldn't keep up with the boredom, so he went jogging until it resonated with his mind that he once had an encounter with the same drawing on the wall. He came back to find Tosan outside waiting for him. She was furious at him not adhering to her instructions when he asked her who Midey was. She tried to hide it from him, but he followed her inside. This time he was curious to know why she burnt the portrait, but decided to ask her. Everything became suspicious the moment she lied. Patrick needed answers until she finally opened up to him, with the hope that he understands why she did all that. She told him about her late husband, who was also a victim of the fatal accident. He was burnt to ashes, but Midey survived but lost his memory. The hospital called her that her husband had a ghastly accident, but survived amongst others, only for her to see Midey instead of her husband, whose name was Patrick. She was traumatized with the situation, as the hospital kept calling her to come take care of her husband and also pay his bills. Since Midey had a memory loss, she took care of him as her husband until she accepted Midey as her lost Patrick. To him, this was unacceptable and barbaric to have done such, because he once had a life somewhere else before she imposed on him a different life. She apologized and begged him to let her help him find his family if he wishes not to stay anymore, but he couldn't stand her sight and left. Midey came back that evening. He already made up his mind to report himself to the police as a missing person. She pleaded with him that it wasn't necessary because she had found who he was on social media. His memory fully returned the moment he saw the pictures, his hair looks and artworks, the exact picture she burnt, and who the lady was. At that moment, he remembered Adesuwa. He promised her that he was going to return to her. He was set to leave at the dawn of the next day. Midey still remembered his house. They went inside and he showed her his studio, where he made all his paintings. At that time, Adesuwa was back alive and was ready to move on with life. She was going to go out with Bimbo to the boutique. She was about to go out to wait for her when she saw Midey and ran back inside. Bimbo thought her sister was yet to heal with her usual self. Bimbo heard the doorbell also and had to go out to check for herself. It was like she had seen a ghost. Adesuwa was brave enough to go back and check since she saw a woman with him. She opened the door to see him alive. So, can you guess what happened in the end? Watch out for a toast to forever.
Thanks for watching this movie recap. Please comment your thoughts and also like and share this video for more super amazing videos that we're bringing to you. And if you're watching from our YouTube channel, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification for more. Thank you.